And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I always do every day. How are you all doing on this Tip Tuesday? Today is Tuesday and today is Tip Tuesday where we talk about photography tips. And before we do that, we also talk about the news and what's going on and what's happening in the world, and also to check in on everybody because the whole purpose of this is called Touch Base Daily. So we come together just to touch base to make sure everybody's okay, everyone's alive, everybody's well, everyone's taking care of themselves. That's what we do. That's how this all started. Touch Base Daily, just to make sure we're all okay. Touch base, touching base with one another. Hey, Derek, what's going on? Derek is in the building. Our wonderful D Tuggle is in the building. Chrissy's Corner is in the building. I'm always wondering, how did you get that name, Chrissy's Corner? That almost sounds like you should be having a TV show, Chrissy's Corner. Good morning. Good morning. Yesterday we had 84 degrees in New York City, and today is going no higher than the 60s. So we woke up to this beautiful fog across the city. Atmosphere temperature is cool, and the ground temperature is warm from yesterday. So you get that nice condensation and fog all around the city. And so it looks pretty nice. It was a great day to go out and do some photography, but I said, no, I need to get things done for today. So how are you all doing? How are you, Mr. D? How are you, Chrissy? What's going on in your worlds? And but there's a lot going on in the world of news. I don't know if you've seen what's going on across the country and the protests that are happening all over the country. College campuses really it started here at Columbia University and now it's spreading. So it's at first they thought it was just going to be a one-time event. It was just going to be maybe a couple of, just a couple of schools, maybe just a couple of kids. But you know what the sad thing is that there are also some bad players in it. But what do you guys think about that? What do you think about the college students protesting around the country? What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about when you know, when you see what's happening and the some cases bigotry against Jewish students, and then some people are upset with the Palestinian people, and it just seems like the whole world is upset with one another. It's like we can't get along and we cannot have conversation. And college used to be the place where people gathered to exchange thoughts. It used to be the place where people say, look, I don't believe in what you believe in, and this is why. Or I believe in this. Here is why. And you were able to have discord without having discord, like fighting. And for the most part, it's been peaceful around the country, but it has been really bad. Obviously, I think it's in Embry-Riddle. Is it Embry-Riddle? I think it is. Down in the southern states. I know I'm always picking on the southern states, but because they're the most radical of all. But they were attacks, and I think some kind of agents were used on some of the students, protesters, and hey, it is a constitutional right to protest. And I can see it from both sides. I know that sounds like a cop out. Um, there are students that need to go to school for, especially here in Columbia, 'cause that's the one I've been really following. The students here in Columbia, they have what's called the tent city there, tent camp out there in protest, and they want the administration to get out of business dealings with Israel, and their support of the Palestinian folks and the Palestinian people. And then I mean, it started in Colombia, and then obviously they had the police come in to break them up. But when doing so, you cause more of what? publicity on the matter. And so it started to spread to other colleges. A lot of these are Ivy League colleges, also some of the other colleges in the country. But um, yeah, so you see across the country, in some of the smaller um, cities, there's these police officers diving into, they are not treating the protesters with respect. And this reminds me also, because there are some bad players that are involved as well. Everyone has a right to protest. Now, whether you think they have a right to protest on the school grounds, which is private property, or there's so many ways and so many angles and so many directions to go about all these protests, the protests. I mean, before I tell you where I am, where are you guys on it? Have you guys been following this? Have you guys been following what's going on? Let me see. Wait, first, I want to say hello to some people. Hey, Jamel's in the building. Jamel says, "Good morning, family." And I see Gwendolyn is in the building after a long journey this morning. Welcome. Elise is in the building. This is up her alley. This is up Elise alley because she's an educator. Um, Chrissy's Corner. I made up this name like Chrissy Ann's Way. It's my slice of the world where I share what I like. Oh, okay. There we go. Yes, Elise says, "Good morning, everyone." She sends her love to everyone. But yeah, this is one of those subjects I don't think they thought, I think they thought it was going to be squashed but this is really spreading, and it's spreading across many colleges across the country. Um, so I'm curious. I'm just curious how you guys feel about it. And I said, this is something I want. I mean, we're going to obviously save the last half hour to go into our lesson, which is, let me just give you that, the fundamentals of, let me pop that. We're talking about the fundamental use of the rule of thirds. That's what we're talking about today. And so get your pads and pens and pencils and paper together so we can, or your tablets. So we'll dive into some tips on photography. But I am curious of how you feel. I see it. Kristi says, you should be able to peacefully protest. It's no different than apartheid protest many years ago. I agree, Chris. And there's been protests all throughout. I mean, hello, America was created on a protest, technically. Protesting has been a part of the American culture and American society from the beginning and before America became a country. So protest is in the First Amendment, sorry, the Constitution, right? So it's important. It's important, but I don't know if it's okay to destroy property while doing it. There were some kids, I said kids, there were some young adults that took hammers to a couple of one of the campuses and broke out windows and all that stuff. I think I know there's a fine line in protest, but once it goes into violence, I think then it's a little sketchy when it starts, especially when you're destroying property and you're also impacting others in a negative way, which are your peers. But again, the purpose of protesting is to interrupt. So again, it feels like there is no correct answer on this matter. And there are many sides on this matter, but it is interesting to me how people have polarized the conversation. And I remember when Black Lives Matter was out in the streets protesting, and there were some bad players that became embedded into the Black Lives Matter movement and made Black Lives Matter look like they were tearing up the city, burning down the city, just right here in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. I remember It happened in Union Square as well. There were protests going on. The Black Lives Matter folks were peaceful. They were doing their thing, just protesting at Barclay Center and here in Fort Greene, moving through the streets. And then there was these three lawyers, I do believe three lawyers that were from upstate New York that were embedded, and they start bombing, catch put into fire police vehicles here in Brooklyn and Union Square. And they were white folks. They were white folks embedded, and they made the Black Lives Matter folks look bad. So not everyone that's a part of the crowd is with the crowd. It's always infiltrators. So what do you guys think? Okay, I saw Lisa say something. Let me see here. Lisa says, okay, hold on. I'm not sure why anyone. Okay, there we go. I wish this young folks would have this same energy for issues in our own country. I'm not against them using their voices in this issue, but we have to get our own house in order first. Lisa, like I said, I said I wish that the same fervency that folks are, banding together. And like I said, I get it. Let's really go all in to support our Palestinian brothers and sisters. But I wish there was the same fervor for other things that matter as well, like our country, like people being aware of Project 2025. I mean, there should be people losing their minds that there's even a thought that Project 2025 has already begun its damage in our country. You would think there would be an outrage for that. And I get the outrage rage overseas, but I'm curious about that. What do you guys think? What do you guys feel about that? I mean, Lisa brings a good point. The fervency for other matters when there's so many matters here at home that need to be taken care of. Elise says, where was all of this energy for January 6th? Right. Where was it? Where was all of this energy? Here's another one. Kristi says, it will continue to spread because people have a right not to support something that goes against their beliefs. Nice. I see that. I see you guys. Amparo says, yes, it's the infiltration of the term woke too. Yes. I mean, remember when woke was a good thing. Erica Badu used to say woke, stay woke. That was at the end of her messages. Stay woke. And there were people that corrupt the term. Okay, that's a good one. I see. Hey, good morning, Anthony. Anthony Rollins in the building. Elise says we are easily distracted. We are easily distracted. Christina's corner said, usually the bad actors come in from other areas or states that have the sole purpose of inciting violence. Yeah, there are people in our society that just love to incite violence. I mean, isn't that like I said, Black Lives Matter was a peaceful march across the country. But there were infiltrators. They were right here in New York. And those two lawyers did get arrested and are now serving time. They were bombing police vehicles in New York City. Elise says, Lisa says, I believe that Biden will lose based on this issue. These young folks are not playing. Literally, the Black women will have to save him again. Well, that's always the case. The Black women are always safe in this country. Um, Elise says, the media isn't talking about Project 2025. You would think some people are. Only a couple of people in the media are talking about Project 2025. And Project 2025 is a clear and present danger. It's a clear and present danger. The Heritage Foundation is not playing. These people are not playing. If you thought the abortion ruling of 1864, they're just getting started. They're just getting started. Okay. True, Kristi says. Okay, Amparo says, I think we need to recognize that there are people who don't the way that the others do. Yeah, there are people that, like I said, there are people that are just they love the violence. They love to cause disturbances because they're not for democracy. They're not for. They're against Palestinians and they're against Jews in Israel. Ali says, "I'm glad more Jewish people are speaking out." Yes, see, and that's the interesting when you look at the protests at Columbia University, they're not just these are not others against the Jews. I mean, there are some, like I said, bad players that have said some bad things, but there are a lot of Jewish students on the side of the Palestinian protests and saying they do not want their college to invest in Jewish institutions that support what's going in on the Gaza Strip. Good morning, Omar. Good morning. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lisa says the Project 2025 folks need to go out and disseminate information to all these young people who are out protesting. Use the moment in their favor. The Project folks, Project 25 folks. You mean the anti-Project 2025 folks? I think. Um, Guys, yeah, we have a lot of issues at hand, and then we have this election to worry about. There's a lot going on with humanity. Elise says, the way it's being handled is how it's outlined in Project 2025. It really is. When you look at, again, for those that are new and tuning into our community, we've been talking about this, and I probably should be talking about, I should bring this up at least once a week. I really should. But if you guys put it on here, we will do so because I kind of like and guided by you guys. In some cases, some cases. But Project 2025, if you are not aware, is put up by the Heritage Foundation. It is about 100 different right wing, right partisan segments of our population that have set up a whole criteria of what the new United States government will look like once the Republicans take charge. So, guys, please, if you have not read it, it is free material. Go on Google and look up Project 2025. They even have a manual. They even have of how they want to create, how they're setting up university, like a school, to teach people how to implement Project 2025. This is real, is a clear and present danger to the United States of America. And if you are in the Instagram board, come on over to our YouTube channel. Okay? So that way you can be there. Nothing like water. Okay, so I see here. What else I see here? Okay, there's some more, and then we're gonna start diving in. Empower says to Elise, It happens to one, it happens to all in some circles. Oh, let me put that on the board. Um, melanated, melanated folks, Jewish people, Asian people, women, same bucket. We are all in the same bucket. The Heritage Foundation is really all about power, white males in power. The rest of us, all of us, are in the same bucket. Kristi says woke, DEI, CRT, and all other terms that deal with race and justice issues are being co-opted. Very true. It's it's a on war on all of this on people of color. Lisa says the problem is many Jews think if you speak against an issue that the Jewish government put in place, you are anti-Semitic when that happens. Yeah, there are some people like that, but there are other people that are able to out to think outside the box and know that two things can exist at the same time. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, okay. We got the last of this. Here we go. And Pearl says the photo. She says it's so frustrating because you know what the terms really mean, and then you hear the media parroting these ridiculous new definitions. Absolutely, Amparo. Okay. So here's another headline, and then we're gonna go on. This was just so. This headline was just so disturbing that I just had to put it in here. Kristi Noem doubles down amid dog killing controversy. Have y'all heard about this? Have y'all been following this? For those that don't know what Kristi Noem is, she is the governor of South Dakota, and she was one of the folks in the bidding for being vice president for the Trump campaign or the Trump presidency, if there was to be one. And so she is crazy. She's off a rocker, but sorry to be name calling, but I just have to just call a spade a spade. Sometimes you have to call, but not only that, but the cruelty. So for those that don't know, the controversy has gone crazy. The media has gone crazy. Everyone's been talking about it all yesterday, all the comedians. And this woman went out. She had a puppy. He was a year and I think it's 13 months old. And had a puppy that was happy. Happy. And the dog was happy. It just loved to play. It wasn't a hunting dog. It wasn't acting like a hunting dog. It just loved to enjoy life. It was playing. And she got frustrated and took it to the gravel pit and she shot it in the head. She shot the dog. And how do we know about this? Because she put it in her book that's about to be released as if this was something good. I mean, but she truly is an example of the Trump mindset, these that follow the cult followings of those folks. Pain and cruelty is the point. Pain and cruelty is the point. If you haven't heard it, it's all over the internet. You just put it in and it will come up. All the night show hosts, comedians last night railed against her. Even Republicans, that was a bridge too far to cross. She took her. Oh, Kristi says, what happened? Yes, she took her puppy because he was acting like a puppy. He was happy-go-lucky puppy. And she took him out to the gravel pit and she shot him. And she bragged about it. And then not only did she do that, she went after the goat as well. And she shot the goat because the goat was dirty. And the goat was dirty and was going to dirty up her kids. You can't make this stuff up. Just when you thought, just when you thought people in this arena could go no lower, they go lower. But what was even crazy is that she wrote about it and put it in the book and celebrated. Like this is what women, this is what people can do when they have to make the hard choices. Oh yeah, everyone's after her. Everyone is after her today. Everyone was going after her last night. Everyone is going after her today. It has been on every news. I mean, it's been out. Like I said, I just thought, and for all, and there's only, there are not too many things that bring Americans together from all parties or thoughts. But most people are animal lovers. Most people love dogs. They may not want a dog in their house, but they ain't gonna kill a dog. I mean, we remember what happened to Michael Vick. They lost their minds. They lost their minds. Even he served time and he got out and he wore the scarlet letter. I was reading about Mitt Romney. Romney. He had did a spoke and he put the dog on top of the car as they traveled around country on tour, he and his family. And it cost him the election because he had the dog on top of the car. People lost their minds. There's one thing all Americans do is they love their dogs. They love their dogs. So anyway, I just thought I would bring that to your attention in case you're like, Ron didn't mention this. Where did this come from? Elise says this is a very, can anyone, I mean, I had a good friend. She's still a good friend. But when I was working here in Brooklyn back in the day, I had a friend that was on my team, and she went to John Jay College, and um, she studied, it was serial killers. Her, yeah, she studied serial killers. And so she gave me, we would talk about this subject. And one of the markers of the profile of a serial killer is they kill innocent animals. They kill animals, they kill insects, they kill bugs, they like to kill things, and then they gradually as they gradually, what do you call it, become worse and worse. And it's insane. It's really insane. And so my question to you guys, I know in this community, everyone pretty much loves dogs. But again, the people in this, the people that are behind all of this, like I'm lumping them together. Maybe I shouldn't lump them together, but I am. The people that are in this party, this cult, even some of them, this is a little too far for them, but to some of them, it's okay. She did nothing wrong. Cruelty and pain is the point in the Republican Party. Cruelty and pain to others is the point. You wouldn't feel comfortable about. No one would even confess that. And no, to put it in a book, that's crazy. Omar, I'm go to your first part, Omar. Omar says, well, the dog was bred to be a bird dog. The dog attacked her neighbor's chicken and bit her. Not defending her decision to execute the dog, but there are a few people who do that to animals. Omar says, if they don't do their specific purpose, they get rid of it. Well, well, that's what most people were saying. You get rid of it. Like just, there is, orphanages, there are, places you can take a dog and saying, you know what, I can't have this dog. And but to take an innocent puppy dog that's trying to, I mean, sometimes the dog was bred to be one, but you still have to teach the dog. It was such an easy way out to just execute the dog. Anyway, I just wanted to put that on your radar. There's two things, and also just another one more headline. I think you should know about, and that is. Hold on a second. Let me get there. This is something that we should keep an eye on, y'all. We should keep an eye on, and it's the bird flu. Keep an eye on this because now not only has it affected the birds, it has been found in the cow milk. Now they're looking at the cow, meat, which thank God I'm a vegetarian. Um, but now they found also signs of bird flu in a dolphin. So this thing is getting and they also found it in one human. So keep an eye on this subject. It is going to slowly evolve. Okay, so just wanted to give you guys some headlines today, and I think it's time to dive into some lessons. We're here to it is Tip Tuesday. We're here to learn. We're here to learn. So let's do that. Okay, guys. Looking through some of what you guys are saying. Last days and times. Let us eat pork. Good. Dr. Talk says, good Lord. And if she was humiliated, dog, she'll heal it. Yeah. And annihilate people. She is a pure waste of. Oh, I won't go there, Dr. Tachi. Be nice, Dr. Tachi. Okay, guys. Here we go. Let's go to class. Let's get to class. Okay, let me just get set up here. Let me pull this in. Let me get this off. And for all, and this came out. Remember last week we were talking. We got briefly on composition for photography. Let me get this little screen here correct. Let me pop this away. Pop that away. Okay, there we go. And can I give you a little commercial break? Um, if you are interested in photography and you would like to learn photography, make sure you reach out to me. I do virtual basic photography 101. And if you want to learn, come on over, reach out to me, and we will set up some classes and get you all schooled in some basic photography to help you along the way. Okay, there we go. Just had to get that little break message. Okay, the fundamental use for the rule of thirds. So last Thursday, we stumbled upon the golden ratio. That was pretty cool. Amparo really brought us into composition. So I said, I talked to Gwendolyn. I said, what do you think about, maybe this would be a good subject. And because it is really the basics of most composition. Once you start diving into composition, we usually start with the fundamental use for the rule of thirds. Every photographer that I know that I've met over the years, when we first all started photography, most of us, the first thing we learned is the rule of thirds. And I remember when someone mentioned it to me, I was like, what is that? What is the rule of thirds? And it's it's a very simple concept, but it is one of the first compositions. And so since we are a community and we're taking this step by step as we learn every week about, photography on these Tip Tuesdays, this was a good one. I thought you would enjoy it. So let me get this in here. I think I really can go full screen. I think I could do that too. I could do that too. That looks good. That's cool. Because on most of your big screen televisions, you can check this out on your big screen television. And again, if you are on Instagram, come on over to our YouTube channel, Touch Base Daily. Okay, here we go. We're going in. We're going in. Okay. Next. What is the rule of thirds? The rule of thirds is a fundamental principle in photography that can greatly enhance the composition and visual appeal of your images. Here is a quick lesson to start you on your road to better photo composition. Okay, this is beginners. This is beginners. This is photography 101, y'all. Oh, okay. I think I need to go back and shrink that. Let me go back so you can see the whole screen. Let me go back. Let me, oops, wrong screen, wrong screen. Yeah, wrong screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me pop that in there. Okay, so what is the rule of thirds? The rule of thirds involves dividing the frame into equal parts by imagining two equally spaced horizontal lines and two equally spaced vertical lines. This creates a grid that helps you position the most important elements of your scene. And we talked about this already last week. If you missed it, I gotta act like you didn't hear it. So there may be some folks that did not hear that. But it's like nine boxes. And for most of us, if you have a phone and you have a camera, you can set your camera up where anytime you use your camera, let me just clean this off a little bit. Anytime you use your camera, you can make sure that it has these like little faint lines on it. Can you see those little lines? They're a little harder, but you can see them. We're gonna have pictures and everything later. But you see those little lines? There's 9 boxes. And you can set up your camera also for those that have these big guys. And so we're going back to that again. And you see the lines. You see the lines. You see these lines. There you go. Right? I personally do not photograph without them. I need them. Technically, I don't really need them as much as I used to, but I love my lines. I love the grids. They help in your photography. Next one. Why use it? Using the rule of thirds helps create a balance and dynamic composition. It draws the viewer's eye into the image and towards the main subject, making the photo more engaging. Like I put this little photo here. You see, like this is on the top of the 1/3, and then this is on the bottom of the 2/3. Yeah, just simple as that. Next, let's see how to apply it. This is a quick lesson. That's why I went into some headlines longer than I normally do. How to apply it. One, and we just said it, I just activate the grid. Go onto your smart device. Most smartphones and cameras have an option to display a grid on the screen. Turn these on to use as a guide. So all you smartphone users and you want to get better at photography, turn on the grid. Turn on the grid. The grid is your friend. Remember that commercial, stay between the lines are your friends. Same thing. Put on the grid. Use the grid. The grid is your friend. It is not a bad thing. And most phones today, most smartphones, if you have a smartphone that's 7, I would even go 10 years, 10 years and newer, there's a grid function on your camera's phone, smart camera, or on your main camera, or on your snap and shoot. Turn on the grid. Next, position key elements. Place the subjects of your photo at the intersecting points of the grid lines or along the lines themselves. And what did we learn last week? Those intersections are also called PowerPoints. Place the subject on the PowerPoints. Did not know that was I know about PowerPoint as in you know, the app and function in Microsoft, but I did not know until I did my homework to share with you guys last week that those intersections, those lines, when they intersect, you have 9 boxes, but you have 4 intersections. It's called the PowerPoints. Next, number 3, align horizons. For landscapes, align the horizon with one of the horizon lines rather than placing it in the middle of the frame. Do you know I learned something by looking at a Steven Spielberg movie, some movie about film, and the character says to the student, "Keep the horizon, fill your screen with either or, the land or the sky, but never make it even. Never put the sky and the horizon in the middle of the frame." It was quite interesting. It changed my life. It's how I photographed that little line in a movie. Because obviously I'm that kind of nerd. I pick up things from movies, wherever I can learn. But again, like you see in this picture, the horizon is on the lower, and then the 2/3 is the sky. Now the photographer could have did the opposite, giving you the land in 2/3 and give you the sky in 1/3. Serena says, I had no idea we could turn on grid lines on our phones. Yes, yes. That's why I do this stuff called Tip Tuesday. Somebody walks away a little smarter than they arrived. Okay, so here we go. Align horizons for landscapes. Align the horizon with one of the horizontal lines rather than placing it in the middle of the frame. Here's also something about the vertical lines here in this picture right here that I'm looking at, and then I'm going to break it down a little further later. But you see that the cactus, the main star is on the first third, and then it balances out on with the mountains and the other little cactus in the back and sky on the 2/3. You see that? See, this is just giving you little ideas. Just trying to spur you on. Number 4, balance the scene. Use the grid to balance different elements in the scene, such as 3 on one side and a mountain on the other. Sorry, did I say 3? Tree. Did I say tree? A tree. As a tree on one side and a mountain on the other. That's right. Or something like this, like you see here. You see, look, balance, symmetry, right? This would be if you had the grid on here, it will be the top grid and the bottom grid, right? The bottom line and the top line, and the book's in the middle. But yet it's just giving you a pleasing look. The star is this shelf. You don't, I mean, you see that? Nice. Okay, moving right along. Okay, some examples. In a portrait position, the eyes at the top intersection of the grid. In a landscape, place a tree along the left or right vertical lines and the horizon along the bottom horizontal lines. And number 3 on this one, for action shots, leave space in front of the moving subject for a sense of direction. We talked a lot about this last week, didn't we? But I just said, let's dive in a little more. Omar's teasing me. Omar says, you are listening to the NPR Political Photography Podcast show. I did that pretty well. Yeah, I guess my years of NPR is paying off. So these are some examples. Here we go. There you go. Look at that beautiful grid. Look at that grid. Oh, it makes me so happy. But look at, you can see the 2/3, right? And you see this horizon. You see the sea? See how you see this L creating this L, and then you see the vertical, the subject is on the line because you want your subject to be on it, one of these points or on one of these lines. Look at that. Like for those that these are stock photos and these are not my photos. Just so people know, I wanted to make sure I did the lesson to par because I mean, why invent the wheel when you don't have to? So these are stock photos. Okay, so just check this out. Look at this. You see this? You see how that line is running through the subject? And then the line is running across on the bottom horizon. This is the horizon line, if you want to call it. And then you got all the 2/3 of the sky, right? From the sea to the sky. Here's another one. The subject, the tree, another part of the subject. Sometimes you got two, and the sunset. So look, they're almost evenly on the screen. This intersection is the sunset. This intersection is the tree. Then there's a leading line moving towards the tree, but we ain't going there yet. That's another lesson. Leading lines. But again, you see this horizon? See the horizon line? See how this bottom line is used for the horizon? See that? It'll make your pictures a lot more interesting, especially for us folks who love landscape photography. But you can do the same thing with people. This could be a person right here and a sunset, right? It all applies. Rule of thirds. Here's another thought. I just do this in here because it's a lot of you guys take photos of people. But again, the eyes on the top horizon when you do it vertical, that line, your eyes of your subject should run through that line, right? And then you can move that person into. So what I usually do when I'm photographing portraits and working with clients is that their right eye is, or I should say their left eye, because their left eye looking at me, is I intersect my line at their eye. Now, if I'm trying to do something over that's a little more important, then I will balance them within the frame. But their eyes are usually located on this line. So when you take your next picture of your friend, your family member, put their eyes on the line right there. Okay. Next, here's another one, waterfall. You see me, I take a lot of landscapes. I do a lot of waterfalls and all that stuff. I pop this. This could have been one of my photos, but I just said no. My photos are too large to put into this slide presentation. It makes it slow, so I had to get very low in resolutions. But here we go. Look at that bottom horizon. But again, 2/3. Look at this. 2/3. The land mass is in 2/3, and then the sky. Look at the waterfall. The waterfall is the subject. It is on the line, right? On the line. So, is this helpful? Is this helpful? Somebody, tell somebody. If this is helpful, please hit a like. No, don't hit the hearts. Hit the like. And this is your first time here, subscribe and like. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I think this is our final one. And but look at this one. Here we go again. Now you see here the horizon line is just slightly above this line because the subject is the person. Look, the person's on that line. And this photo can lead you to another composition, but I'm gonna stay away from it. I'm gonna stay away from it. But some leading line. Oh, okay, I just went there. There are some leading lines going on here. You see this mountain coming in. You see the trees and the lines coming in. The eye is being pulled to the subject, but the subject is on the lower horizon. The mountains are somewhat midsection in the middle, and then the sky is on the top thirds. Yeah, there you go. So I hope this helps. Oh, Adrian's in the building. Sunny boys in the building. Let the record show that I now have grids on my iPhone camera. See, people are listening. People are listening. Chrissy says, great tips. Great tips. That's what we do on our Tip Tuesdays. Chrissy says, I love landscape photography. Serena says, very helpful. Very helpful. Okay. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps you guys. And then last but not least, remember, while the rule of thirds is a helpful guideline, it's not a strict rule. Feel free to experiment and sometimes break it to achieve the desired artistic effect. Practice using the rule of thirds to see how it can transform your photos from simple snapshots to compelling images. Cool? Cool? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something today. And we photographers in the building, I know y'all are like, oh yeah, Ron. But it's always a great refresher. And I'll never forget when I first learned photography, the teacher said, you must know the rules of composition so you can break them. Because we're creatives and we're artists. So you learn these rules and then you start to be creative with these rules. It's not like mandatory to make your photos perfect, but what it does is make your photos more compelling. See here, Dr. Tachi reaches out. She likes Adrian's, he has his grids on his iPhone. And I see Serena says, so finding the grid lines is in settings. I have to find them. Yes, when you turn on your camera, when you click on your camera, when you put your camera in camera mode, you go to your settings. Some cameras, you have to actually go to a settings and then hit camera and then put your camera settings. But either or, you go into settings, especially with your smartphones, and click on, it'll be at usually it's at the top, and it will say grid. Turn on grid. So let me know. And let me know how that works for you. Okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good. And any questions? Any questions? Omar said, you'd be surprised how many so-called professionals don't know this. That's true, Omar. You look, I learn something new every day, but I often assume that most photographers would know the rule of thirds, but you're right. They're not. You can never make that assumption. Oh, you know what they say about assuming. So can't do it. Can't assume. Thank you. Thank you that. And I'm getting used to my little banner. So I'm gonna put my other banner up here because I like my little banners since I made them. Check this out. Okay, there we go. So make sure you do that. Like and subscribe. YouTube at Ron Lewis Photos. You can do that. And that would just be really cool to have more followers. And then also to share. I'm going to be doing a lot more sharing on my YouTube channel. I know I share on Instagram, but I will be doing a lot more on YouTube because there's so many functions on YouTube that I'm really becoming more familiar with. So I'll be doing a lot more sharing on there. So make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Not the heart button, but the subscribe is usually like, subscribe. And then you got right next to it, the like, the little thumbs up is the like, and click on that. So Adrian's trying to help Serena. I think. Okay. Oh, Serena says she found it. Hey. Oh my goodness, she says. It's like finding gold. Let me tell you, the grid line saved my life. Saved me as a photographer, especially when you're starting out. Yeah. Adrian says for the iPhone folks, settings, camera, composition, click grid. Look at that. He says he's late. Okay, there you go. There you have it. Okay. That was some good instructions for let me put it up again for those iPhone users. Settings. I think next time I'll have to include that into the lesson, right? Settings, camera, composition. But then it would just not allow you to be participants. I see Aya says in grid is very helpful. It changes your photography. Let me tell you, it does change. It changes the way you see the world. It really does. Okay, guys. So let me just pop this off here. Guys, if you want to catch the replay here. You can do that. Catch the replay anytime during the day. But also, we are on the Indie Soup Media. So check that out. We'll be on a repeat for your friends. If they haven't seen it, you can let your friends know we're on Indie Soup. And you will be at 4 o'clock today. You can check that out Eastern time. But again, like, subscribe on YouTube, and go to our Ron Lewis photos, and that will help you there as well. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're squared away. And if no one has any questions, you got 1 minute for a Q&A. 1 minute left. I don't want to leave you hanging. Once this subject is closed, we are moving on to the next. Okay. See here. Let's see what's going on in the Instagram world. If you are in Instagram, I see there's one person there, but I see lots of people going through Instagram. Come on over to the YouTube channel. Come on over, baby. Come on over to YouTube and click on the like and subscribe. Okay. I am out of here, guys. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for hanging out with me on our Tip Tuesday. And I hope you learned something today. And I hope you also keep a pulse of what we talked about early in the beginning. So if you were late, check it out on the repeat. Okay. I am out of here. Later. Well, yeah. There we go. There we go. Bye.